Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Friday. I'm China Green.
Dramatic pause.
I almost said Monday. How depressing would have that been?
That would have kicked you out of the studio, actually. It is not Monday, it is Friday, and we have Chris McGinnis handling weather for us this morning. Ashley Graham's handling traffic. Ashley, we're going to start with you here because you do have a traffic alert.
Yeah, we've been following this traffic alert for the past hour or so, and the good news this morning is that crash has cleared just in the last 10 minutes or so, but the backup, well, it's still clearing at this point. So here is a look at where that crash was this morning, and we are still seeing some brake lights as far up as Rosa Park. So just know if you're heading out at this time that you might want to give yourself a little bit of time to get through. Well, that is good news there. We just saw some red across here on our drive times. That has now moved to yellow. So some good news for those of you heading out. I'll take a look at the rest of your commute coming up, guys.
Dramatically up and then down in the drive time. That's good. All right, the sun coming up dramatically this morning, right? A gorgeous start to our morning. It's 45 degrees last check at PDX. And also that I wanted to point out, the freezing level has jumped up over 11,000 feet. So that's higher than it was yesterday. That's an indication that the air mass above us is warming, and so today will be warmer than yesterday. Despite that, it's pretty chilly in some cases. Battleground has slipped to 37. Hillsborough is down to 37. As we go down to the south right now, Salem waking up to 43 degrees. All right, the plan for Friday is to sit back, kick back, relax, and enjoy. This is the warmest day of our 7-day forecast. Lots of sun, increasing clouds this afternoon, high temperatures around 78. There still is rain in the Mother's Day forecast. Guys, I will walk you through that with Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. For the first time ever, the Catholic Church has a U.S.-born Pope. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost from Chicago was picked on the second day of the conclave, and he'll now be known as Pope Leo XIV.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us here in the studio with more on this. So, Thomas, the final decision on the new Pope definitely surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, Drew and China, a lot of people across the world and a lot of people here in Portland as well. We spoke with some Portlanders attending Mass, priests, and the Archbishop of Portland. All were stunned. The new Pope is American.
When I got the news, I immediately wanted to come down, take a moment and be part of Mass and just be grateful for the fact that we now have a new Pope.
Now let's give you some quick facts about the new Pope. Pope Leo is Pope Leo XIV, is from Chicago, and he's fluent in 5 languages. His missionary work took him to Peru, and the 69-year-old rose through the ranks of the church, becoming bishop before being called to Rome 2 years ago by Pope Francis to oversee the church's bishops globally. That provided Leo a global and an American perspective, and local Catholic leaders believe Pope Leo will lead in a similar fashion as Francis.
I think he's in that same spirit of Francis, a love for the poor, concern for those marginalized, but also fiscally and administratively sound.
All important attributes for the new Pope. In his first speech as leader, Leo says he plans to lead a church that welcomes all and unites everyone in peace. Guys.
All right, Thomas, we appreciate that update on the new Pope. Meanwhile, let's get to some other national headlines this morning with your Morning Rush. About 1,000 transgender service members are being forced out of the military. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced on social media that the removal will take place in the next 30 to 60 days. 2 days ago, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration could enforce a ban on transgender people in the military. Transgender men and women have been allowed to serve openly in the U.S. military since 2016. In Los Angeles, the man accused of crashing his car into Jennifer Aniston's house earlier this week made his first appearance in court, and you can see right there he was shirtless and wrapped in a blanket. 48-year-old Jimmy Wayne Carwiles is charged with felony stalking and vandalism. The judge ordered a mental health evaluation and set his bail at $150,000. Bill Gates says he plans to give away virtually all of his wealth. In the post on his website, the Microsoft co-founder says the Gates Foundation will give away more than $200 billion by the end of 2045, and at that point, the foundation will close its doors for good. And First Lady Melania Trump unveiled a Barbara Bush postage stamp on Thursday. The First Lady, former First Lady, died back in 2018. The dedication ceremony for the stamp will be held on June 10th in Maine. And that's a look at your Morning Rush.
Developing this morning in Northeast Portland, police responded to a shooting near a church and a school. It happened just before 2 a.m. in front of Trinity Lutheran Church near the intersection of Northeast 55th and Killingsworth. Video shows an ambulance taking someone from the scene. We have reached out to Portland Police for more information. We're waiting to hear back. Washington Supreme Court has ruled that a state law banning high-capacity magazines is constitutional. The 2022 law bans the sale, manufacture, and import of magazines that hold more than 10 rounds.
Washington County released some of the findings from the county's most recent point-in-time count. The count is used to determine how many people are experiencing homelessness on a given night. So this year's count happened in January, and the total number was 940. That's up from 618 people in 2020, but county officials say that jump is partly due to shelter expansions, which make it easier to identify people who are homeless. They also say 70% of the people considered chronically homeless who managed to get into a shelter last year have since found more stable housing. Oregon's special election is less than 2 weeks away, so registered voters should have received their ballots in the mail by now. If you didn't get one or you need a replacement ballot, you can reach out to your county elections office. In Multnomah County, the number to call is right there on your screen. It's 503-988-VOTE. You can also go online and get a replacement ballot by filling out the county's Order Ahead replacement ballot form. To make sure your ballot counts wherever you live, you have to mail it back or place it in an official drop box no later than Tuesday, May 20th.
Sunday is Mother's Day, and this morning we are taking a live look at the gardens over at McMenamins Edgefield. The gardeners over there are getting ready for the first Mother's Day Eco Fair and plant sale. So they are also offering tours of the grounds and free workshops with gardening experts. So if you're looking for something to do with mom on Sunday, they're offering free access to the gardens this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4. And coming up at 6:45, we're talking to one of the gardeners.
So many awesome Edgefield properties in the area, right? My favorite would be either Kennedy School or Edgefield out there in Troutdale, and I think I have to give the edge to Edgefield.
I see what you did there.
I wasn't trying to do that, but I honestly, like that, something about that property. I know the movies there, always awesome. The food there, good.
The concerts.
Yep.
We just went to one last summer. Awesome.
So you got that big event coming up on Mother's Day. Now the question, Chris McGinnis, is
will the weatherman deliver?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the weatherman's going to deliver a little rain, unfortunately, for for Sunday, but just a little. Okay, so let's talk about your weekend forecast real quick. Increasing clouds, cooler tomorrow from today. 72 on Saturday. Saturday still looks like a lovely day. Mother's Day Sunday, scattered showers in our forecast with a cooler high of about 64. All right, let me show you futurecast real quick. Our modeling will just blow through today because other than some high thin cloud cover, there's not much going on. Fast forward to tomorrow. This is Saturday morning. Maybe a quick glancing blow of some light rain showers at the coast. Doubtful that any of that makes its way over the coast range. Now I say that and somebody might get a little spit of rain and say, you were wrong. Okay, a sprinkle tomorrow, maybe. Probably not, but increasing clouds nonetheless. Fast forwarding into Sunday, the green blobs take up a little more real estate, especially as we go towards the noon and afternoon hour. But the latest trends in our modeling take the brunt of at least the leading edge of the storm system down into southern Oregon and northern California, which means for Sunday purposes, we're kind of on the northern periphery of this. And as such, you'll see that the precipitation amounts are not overly impressive here. These numbers have come down in the last 36 hours, only a few hundredths of an inch now being suggested through Sunday evening. Now, going beyond that, it could get a little wet Sunday night and into Monday, but Sunday, Mother's Day itself actually doesn't look that bad. Now, again, it's going to be cloudy, cooler with some showers, but by no means are we expecting a washout. 45 last check at PDX. As we mentioned, the air mass aloft is warmer this morning. That will lead to warmer temperatures this afternoon. Futurecast actually likes 80 for Portland today. I'm splitting the difference at 78, but warmer. 72 tomorrow, and then as we mentioned, showers on Mother's Day Sunday with a high of 64. It's possible we hear a rumble of thunder on Monday. So the wettest part of our 7-day forecast, guys, is actually more likely Sunday night and into Monday. And then we stay cool with maybe a shower threat into early next work week. And that's our 7-day forecast. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris.